to today's tutorial, and today we're going to learn QGIS in one video, which is today's video, and we're going to explore the most basic parts of QGIS and how to manipulate with your data, data analysis, issues of maybe you want to make maps with QGIS. So today we're going to do that very fast. In this one video, we'll do basic introduction to QGIS, how to handle data, and maybe up to the end. So QGIS, for maybe someone who has not maybe used QGIS before, this is the interface. Don't worry about the most what you can see here, or these are plugins that I've just put into my system, but you can always add these ones according to your needs for the various plugins. So this one, having the interface here, as usual in most of the software, we have the menu here, and then we have the toolbar, and then we have the map canvas here, and then we have some other windows that someone can bend into the system. For example, we have the browser panel, we have the layer panel, we have other plugins like the interface that we have here, and then of course in the toolbar we have other options that we can add other panels and toolbars. So as you can see, for example, we can add the layer order panel, which comes here, that you can always maybe use. You can activate or deactivate some of the tools that you have. So maybe if you find a lot of for example, the inner safe, this one here, you can always for example close that, and then you're left with a bigger area. You have just have Explorer, which comes here, and then you can push maybe move these windows or panels from one section to another, and then you can actually leave them afloat, or maybe you can embed them in the sections that you want. So that's a quick one. So we have the menu here. We start with the first one, which is the project, that you can have the options of saving a project, creating composers for the maps. And you can also exit QGIS here. We have the edit, which only is active. Most of the tools here are inactive because we don't have a layer on the map canvas. And then you have the view, which is basically for tools such as measure, zoom to extend, zoom full, and all that. And then it just has an alternative to the tool that we have here. So you can always use the view, the panels or toolbars. And then we have the layer here, where it's an alternative for this section here that you can use to add a create layer or add layer into your QGIS project. And then you have others that you can always exchange depending on maybe on how you want your project to be. And then you have the settings. This is where you have settings for your entire project. So for example, we could go to the options. So this is where you are able to change different properties. For example, you want to have different selection color, you can always change that one here. We have map tools, whereby you can, for example, the measure tool or the pan and zoom, you can also determine that. We have the scale tool. We have the CRS here, where you can change the default CRS for your map, for your project in QGIS. And then we have others like the networks. If you want to fetch some data from a remote server, you could always configure that here. We have advanced ones, whereby you can always, this is for like the pros, that you can always use this to advance your QGIS application and maybe do more. Then we have the colors here. This is the colors for the entire project. You can always set them here. You have data sources, system, and all that. So the settings here, you're able to access quite a number of stuff that you can use. Then you have the plugins. We'll be using these in the mostly in this video, because we'll be able to install different plugins and maybe show how they're used. Then you have the vector. This is for vector layer. So you have different tools. You have the geoprocessing here. We have the buffer, the clip, and all that. You have the data management tools there, like merge. So you can always access them from this section here. Wherever you're dealing with vector data, the tools are here. Then you have raster. This is where you're able to work with raster data in your application, and then manipulate it according to the project that you're carrying out, or maybe the thing that you want to achieve. Then you have the DB manager here, which is very important. This is for managing the different databases that you have in the system. For example, if you have PostGIS database, you can always connect it here and then load its data. Then we have the geo package, we have the spatialite, and all that. Then you have the section, another interesting part. This is for the web. So as you know, we have aspect or tools that, for example, you might want to work on your data and then publish it online. So you can always have the tools that are in this section, like the GeoServer. We have Lazy Map. We have also the Open Layer plugin that helps you load base maps on your QGIS project. Then we have the Geoprocessing, which has the graphical modeler, the toolbox, the command line that you can use to manipulate or to conduct data analysis. The toolbox here is very huge for QGIS. As you can check, we have so many algorithms and different tools. For example, we have the grass one, we have the GeoServer, GDALogia, and all this. So you can create your own models in QGIS and then automate your work. And then we have help, of course. This is to actually help you maneuver in the QGIS project. Check the different documentation or different topics in the documentation, and you're able to get far to find help. So with that, we can start. So we'll be starting with the loading data, which is the basics. So in loading data in QGIS, you can do it in 3 ways. You can always drag and drop the .shp file here, or maybe you can use search tools, for example, for the vector layer. So if it's vector, you can always navigate to where you have your data. So for example, I can load, for example, the roads.shp here, and then you click open and then open. So my data will load. Alternatively, I can go to the same folder and maybe pick a .shp and drag it there. Wow, so it is still add. So there are the different options. You are still gonna have to can go to the layer, add layer, then vector. Wow, so that's the way of adding data in your QGIS project. And of course you have various data types. So you have, for example, the linear data. You can also have point data. For example, you have the points here. You can have polygons. So for example, I might add, for example, the admin 3. Then I'll add all of them there. Wow, so there you have. So we have the different types. You have the point, polygon, line. This is how you're able to overlay them, and then you're able to see or maybe to use them in your project. So the next point or the next part will be changing the styling for these layers. So to change the styling here, you double click on the layer here to open the layer properties, or alternatively you can just right click and go to properties. So before you go there, you can always check its attribute table, so that at least you understand your data, or you understand the data you're working with. You know the fields that you'll be using to categorize or maybe to symbolize your data. So for example, we have this one here, so you can always maybe use name tool. So I've got this name tool, so we're gonna style with that. So we double click on that, then come to style here, and then we're gonna come to the different styling methods. We have single, categorized, or graduated. The existing one is single, as you can see. So we want maybe, for example, categorized. So you're gonna categorize in the name to column, and then you're gonna classify, and then you're gonna delete that, then apply, and wow, there you have. So that's how you have our administration layer now. It's in different colors depending on the county that you're representing. So you have these classes are so many, but you can always reduce them depending on your project. So for point data, the same. You go to the properties. You can always have the different ones, but this one I will stick it to single symbol. We have the roads. If you check the attribute table, you can always check. So we have the type. We can categorize it with type. So we're going to come here, and then we come to categorized, and then we classify. Sorry, I have to keep the type, and then you classify. So you can delete that. You can delete that too, and then apply, and then okay. So if you remove this, so you are able, they almost have the same colors. So let me check. For example, let me first of all delete all. So I'm gonna come here to the color ramp. Maybe I can select that. Maybe I can select a darker one, for example, and then you classify, So remove that, and yep. So we apply and all that. Wow, so that's the data. From there, we're gonna check, for example, on how to maybe query the different or maybe edit this data. So you're gonna come to the editor here, and once you edit, once you click on the toggle editing mode, you see that you're now able to edit the data. So this one maybe gonna call B6, this one gonna maybe call B5, or maybe 4. This is for example B8 and all that. So you can edit the data and all that. Then after editing, you can always save your data, and to maybe to prevent or maybe to avoid issues of misplacing your data. And then you can always delete a record. For example, you can pick this one and delete. Yeah, it's gone. So ID number 2 is not there. You can add a field, for example. So we're gonna add a field. This is maybe location, and then you're gonna put this as text, and then you're gonna put maybe 50, and yeah, okay. Wow, so it's increased that. You have others that you can delete a field, for example. So we already created the location. You can delete, for example, class or name. So depending on the one that you have under that, so you can delete that and it goes. Then you might come to this section and select quite a number, and then on the top here you're not seeing it, so you can always bring them to the top with this tool here. Well, it's not working. Why? Okay, don't know why. But this is to essentially bring the selected features at the top here, or maybe okay, I see they were deselected. Okay, then you can select, for example, you have for example, you select quite a number like that, and then here they are. So you may want to deselect. You just click on that and to deselect all. You can always maybe pick the expressions here that you want to use in your algorithm. So you can maybe, for example, select all the motorable roads. Yeah, if you can check, let me expand that. If you check on this, there's a motorable track. We have tarmac, so we can find all the roads that are of maybe type tarmac, for example, and then we can check all the unique, and then we select that, and then it comes here, then we select. So after selecting, we should be able to highlight to that, and then we should be able to check that. So maybe I might stop editing so that it is select for us. So you can see there's the yellow line here. Okay, let me check that again. So here you are, you write the expression again. So we have the recent one. So maybe we can change this. I think there are so few, so we can have okay, let me repeat this process. So you're gonna come to, sorry for that, so it's fields and values. You can select that type, and then or unique, and then we can select that, and then you're gonna select this one. Wow, there, to select all that more motorable track, and then list the others. So that will perform a simple query for your dataset. And then we have other aspects, like you can deselect all that. We have others like the field calculator here that you can use to update or create new fields that you want, depending on the calculations or the method that you want to create with. So for example, you might update the location data here. So we're gonna update the location, and I'm gonna maybe update with true, for example. So and then we click that. Wow, should update all that, and then you save, and then you toggle everything. So I'm not going to do that, so let me just go back. So there you are. So we've been able to tackle different data types or different symbology aspects in QGIS. So we have others like for example, the measure tools. You can always measure the area, for example. So you just click that, and it shows the results here. So you are able to check. You can always change this depending on the your interest, or maybe the area that you're working with. So for example, acres, you can always have that. The other tools that are found in the attribute table here, like the expression, the select, deselect, and all that. Invert selection, you can always find them here too. So you can find there here, select by expression, select all features, and all that. So you can work with the one that are most favorable for you, depending on the project that you're working on. So from there, we may go to maybe creating new aspect. For example, we want to maybe add more features or add more features on, for example, the points. Let me go to the points here. So you zoom to layer. Okay, that seems not to be having anything. So we're gonna go to road, and then we can start editing and add more lines here. So you just click on that and you start drawing. Then you right click and wow, it should ask for information. You just click OK. So then okay, I think I have cancelled, not okay. So you can go to maybe 897 there, then you click OK. So I don't know why it's not appearing here. Let me check. The reason is so okay, so let me see. Add feature, line 0 contains one duplicate node at 0.6, so validation finished. Okay, there's another in this layer, I guess. So let me check that. So we're gonna check that. So we're gonna add to the point. So you can always activate that and then add a point there. There it is. And then I can add another one, as many as possible. I'm digitizing now towns or shops in this area, for example. So you can always have that. Wow, and then you check the attribute table, it should be populated with all the points that we've added. Oh, so that's how you do that. So you can always add new features like that. The next one is we're gonna conduct some analysis in your QGIS project. So we're gonna come to, for example, vector and geoprocessing. We might conduct, for example, a buffer, fixed distance buffer. So you can always pick a point and maybe can put, depending on the map units here, you should always check your units here and the scale and all that, and then also your CRS. This will determine the what the value that you put here. So in my case, I may put 001 segment 1, then just run. Oh, so it has created a buffer. If you check that, so we have buffer and all that. So this is one aspect of geoprocessing. So you can always perform this. We have others like clip here and geoprocessing still. So we can always use, for example, union. We have clip. I don't have features to clip here. So okay, so we have other parts that, for example, you can extract this. So you can always select that on the map. Okay, not that. Sorry. So you can always come to the section here and then select feature, and then you select that. So we must have selected it here so that for it to work. So you can select that or that or that to that to that. So we can save these as different parts. So for example, we can save the center part, and then we can export this to like to form our one layer. So we're gonna save this. So we're gonna save it as a S3 shapefile, and then we come to this part here and call our new data. So you save that, and then you select save only selected features, and then okay, wow, so that will be added there and all that. So so we have this feature here that you can now like utilize as a different layer in your system. Okay, so having done that, so the other tools that you can, for example, use either the merge vector layer. So you can select the layers to merge. So you can maybe add our new data here and our the administration layer, and then you just run that. Wow, it becomes one layer. So interesting. So that's how you do it. So and then you check the attribute table here. So it's still the same as the one that we had in this other one, because the fields were still the same. So in the merge, the fields are at least selected. The layer or the common layers, the common fields are always selected, and the rest are left. So that's how you do that. We have the geoprocessing here, of which you can still look for more features or more tools. For example, you have the geoprocessing. All these are that are found under the raster and vector. They can be found here. So you can always access them from this section and then use them. So buffer vectors and all that. You can use the fixed distance buffer and then you use that. So we have some other sections like the plugins. So you can always install plugins in QGIS as you wish. That's one of the biggest benefits in QGIS. And for example, if you know also of a certain QGIS plugin that does a certain work, you can always install it and use. So you're gonna come to the plugin here, for example, and then manage and install plugin. So this one should be connected. You must be connected online so that at least you see the files or the plugins that are in the QGIS repository. So you're gonna come to the install section here. All these are the plugins that are installed in my system, and then I can get all that are not installed. So for example, I can install this one, which called the clipper. I can just install. So install it. It's installing this plugin. Wow, it's already done successfully. And then when I come to the installed, I should see the plugin here, and then I should see it on my application too. So and then I'm gonna click that and I can use it. Wow. So that's how you like for example use the different plugins. So you can always have the settings in your plugins section here. So you can add a new repository. You can maybe activate to show experimental plugins, but this is somewhat dangerous because it might lead to crashing of the plugin every now and then. So you can always add new repositories. For example, you just can have the different URL here, plus this one automatically picks the version of the QGIS that you're using in the system, and then you give it a name, and then it should be able to then take it and bring the plugins that exist in that repository. So plugins are awesome. Plugins are cool. You can I love them so much because at least you're able to automate work and maybe reduce your workload. Wow. So close without saving. So we have other sections like that you can export in QGIS. So for example, we have the DB manager here, for example, where we can maybe check the different options that we have. So I have one connection called power here. So this is the same for PostGIS here is the same as having this tool here, that you can always have a new connection. You can put maybe all that, and then you have put the host because it's this machine. If the DB is on this machine, if it's not, you should put the host of the DB, and then the database and the authentication. So for example, I have this one loaded here. If I connect, should be able to check the layers or the tables that exist in that database, and then you should be able at least to load at least one. Then we load that. I can always load that, and then should go to that section, and then let me deactivate that. So there you are. So this data is coming from a DB. You can always export this. We have a lot of options here, and then we also have a tool here for the DB. For example, if I search for PostGIS, so you're able to see that you can import vector into PostGIS, so you can use the QGIS algorithm itself, which is this one here. So select the layer and all that, all these parameters, and then you save it in the DB, and wow, you should be able to find it. Wow. So then we have the other section. Now we have our data here in very good manner. So can maybe remove some of these layers. You can always hold down the shift key and then highlight the layers, then remove them. So after that, so let me remove that one also. So I want us to get to map making. Now we have, for example, this map in these fancy colors. So I want to make a map from this. So roads in this section are insignificant, so I can always remove that. And then you have point. Okay, they also are so much underground. So there you are. So now we're done with our analysis. We want to make a map that at least will give someone or print for some work. So to do that, you come to the project here and then access the new print composer. So we're gonna give it a name like today, and then it opens that. Wow. So this is like opening a new QGIS project, but it's just a new window. So this is the composer. This is what we'll be using. So we have different tools here. We have for example, the add map. We have the legend, scale, arrow. Can export to PDF, to SVG. Can export to JPG, and all that. And then we can still save our composer for later use, or maybe another day. So quickly we come to this section. We add our map here. So we come to that section, and then we use this tool here to move the inner components of the frame, for example, and then you click this to select the features here. So there you are. So we select that, and then you can position that. Okay, so we can adjust this a little bit down there. So that's thing. So once you add the feature here, you can always access its item properties here. Now we can look the layer styles. We can add a frame, for example. We can choose the color for the frame, which we can maybe have a fancy color there. That's there. So we can adjust its thickness. So as you note, it's changing as we change. And then that. So there are a lot of options that you can add here. We have grids that you can always add, and all that. So so we have that. So let me push that one up there, and then so we can add a legend. So legend is dependent on the layer or the features that exist on the canvas here. So we only have one layer. So for the legend, it's only draw one legend item with its properties. So as you can check, so we have this. This one is too long to fit into our page, but the good thing, we have a section here where we can always update that. So we have the columns here. So I want us to have about 5 columns, equal column widths, and then you can leave the split layer there, and then we're gonna have it at that way. So so 5 columns, don't want to split layers there, and then we bring this one down here. So okay, we can maybe 4, and there you are. So you come to this section, and then we can pull our map to this side, or else we can adjust this to this end. It's very flexible. And then you can always have our map reduce in size. There you are. And then we select the outer one, and then put it below here. Or maybe alternative, you can still remain there, so that will be within the frame of the map. And there you are. And then you can also add some other fancy stuff, such as okay, still on the legend, you can update these sections. So for example, you have this part here, you check, so that layer, we can have that. So it's an auto update. So once you update the colors on the map on this section, it is still update here automatically. So we can add other features like the scale here, which is can put somewhere here. Okay, I'm just doing things here because I'm minding the space and also the time. So that's how you put the scale. So use this tool here, and then you have the north arrow, which can always fit somewhere like that. And then you put the text here, and then you put your end there. Then you select the north. You can always change the font here for the north. You can put it bold, and then we can adjust, for example, 28. And then you can put the center and center. Wow. So there the north is. And then you can move that one there. So there you are. So you can add all the map features that are of the map components that you know of, like the title, the legend, the north arrow. We have the scale bar. For the title, it's just simple. You just do it there, and then so you are like Kenya, then you adjust that. So you need to adjust to that, and then you can put always a number, yeah, like that. So that's how you put it, and you can still select that, and maybe put an underline there. there you are. So you can always put them the different map components as you wish, and then we just visualize them, or maybe have the map completed as you wish. So we also have like you can save to PDF here. You can also export to SVG. You can export as an image. So for example, we can have this. Oh, sorry, I cannot access that. So you can have it here. So you can put it there, and then you select this one for printing. So we leave it at 300 dpi. I don't encourage editing this unless you're very sure of the printer properties that you're going to use for the printing, and then you save. So once you come to this section here, and you'll be able to see our image here saved from QGIS. So there you are, and then I can print that. So that's for the okay. Let me save this. So we can have it as today, and then we come back to our QGIS project. So we have all this. So can you close that? Not using them anymore. So so we have this. So there are a lot of features that you can learn or you can use in QGIS, and as we've seen, we've explored most of the parts so far, and then we are able to like view or maybe utilize the different components. So we have save, where you can always save your project and then use it for a later day. And then we have also the section here. You can actually, every tool in any GIS software has two options. So we have the save here, we have it here, we have the layers here, we have them here. So that's how you are able to see that. More details on this section here. This is you can add vector layer, raster layer. You can also add spatialite layer from spatialite DB, PostGIS layer, and we have WMS, WCS, WFS. So this is mostly when using, for example, GeoServer, and then you have the comma delimited data set that you have, maybe CSV or XLS. We have others like you can add a virtual layer. And then we have this other one that you can create a new shapefile. So if you don't have files in all these formats, you can always create a new one. Yeah, so that's how you go about that. We have another very important thing that I've forgotten. Sorry about that. So it's the aspect of labels. So you can always put the labels from this section here. And as you saw, we can use that one, then use the column name tool. And then there are a lot of settings here. There are more videos that I've done in the past that are showing more details about the labels. So we have quite a lot in this section. So you can always have, for example, the placement. So you want, for example, the whole polygon, visible polygon of 3 point. So you can force that, and then you can always apply that. Then you see, so the labels are there. You can always adjust this for the labels depending on the scale. So you can put this, as you can see, we have 2 million here. This is 100 million, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 10 million, sorry. So you can always put it that way, and then okay. So if someone goes into the map, when you zoom in, you'll always be able to see the label. Once you come out of that, anything above 10 million, you should not be able to see the layer. Sorry. So as you can see, you can always tweak that depending on the scale that you're using on the map. So we can adjust this to about 5. So check what happens. So someone who is above that 5, they are not able to see the labels. So that's how you adjust that. Remember, these on the settings for the scale. You can also set them under the settings here, that you can always under the general. You can, okay, not the general, sorry, but the entering here, you can always set this under this section, so that at least the settings will be applied in the entire project. So that's how you work with the data, or generally the QGIS software. We have other interesting stuff like the Python console here, that you're able to write your own scripts and then run, and then maybe automate your work. You can always load as a script, which you can open here, then open the Python script and then execute it using the run command here. So there are quite so much fancy stuff. We have others like the you can always draw charts, or like the pie chart here. So you can always use attribute which has a name, which I don't know which one has a name here. We can always check that. So so for example, we're doing something with population, or maybe the area here. So you can always come to this section, take for example a histogram or a pie chart, then you can come to area, and then we add it there. So you can customize that to maximum, and then just apply. So you should be able to see some fancy pie charts on the diagram here. Yeah, there you go. I'm not customized it fully because at least you need to have something that you're drawing the chart with. So you can try the different tools or the different charts. For example, the histograms here, and then you apply that. So you should draw something fancy on the map, and then you just apply OK. So depending on your analysis, depending on what you're doing, that's the entire like the simple way of doing or handling your project in QGIS, and then different aspects. So all these they are quite fancy tools. We have the zoom, the zoom in, the zoom out. We have the zoom to full. We have to selection, extend, and all that. Again, on the layer here, you can always zoom to layer, and then you'll be able to be like for example, I might for example be working on this data, and then something oops happens. So I can always press that and my map is back. Alternatively, I can always right click that and then zoom to layer, and there you are. Wow, so that's it for this video. At least we've demonstrated quite a lot on in QGIS. It's quite a quick one, but I believe I've tried to capture everything, or maybe every aspect of the basic aspect of QGIS. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe to this channel for more videos, and check the existing videos for that cover QGIS, so that you get to know more details, specific details about different sections in QGIS. So thank you for watching.